Good evening, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Coming to you live from Birkie Trailhead, better known as the Birkie Start Line for many of you. And I just want to thank you for coming along with us on this journey called Birkie. I mean, it's so inspirational for many of you. And we have the fortune of working on it every day to produce experiences that inspire. And we told you all along back in April and May that we couldn't tell you what Birkie 2021 was going to look like. Just so many variables. And not that I can tell you exactly tonight, and Christy has a presentation to hopefully get you more information, but understand this is going to be a process. Even tonight when we're done, the FAQs on the events page, check back often. Tomorrow morning there'll be more. The next day there'll be more. We've been inundated with questions over the last 48 hours, and we're getting to them as fast as we can, and we'll continue to update that page as we get answers. But also understand we don't have every answer yet. But what we do have some big broad strokes, and I want to get those to you tonight. But understand this. First and foremost, the one thing that has to happen is that we produce a safe event. Understand there's going to be some compromises. We know that with a 5-day event, the likelihood of having different conditions is very likely. We know that there's going to be all kinds of different changes that happen, but also understand what we're putting together is an event that first and foremost, safety of our community, safety of our volunteers, and certainly you, the participants. So as we go through this, please keep that filter on to understand that we're going to be making a lot of different decisions about the formats and when the start times are and what the finish looks like. And I know it might sound crazy, and trust me, we do not have all the answers right now, but I tell you that we have one of the best teams working on it. The fact that we're getting close to being able to bring 7, 8, 9,000 people here in what we believe is a really safe manner, I think it's not being done a lot of places around the world. And we're not going to do it in a really cavalier way. We're going to do it very thoughtful and in a way that we know is going to be safe. As many of you know, we just did an event over the last couple of weeks. One was a mountain bike event and one was a running event. And during the running event, many of the safety protocols that we're going to be utilizing coming up during the Birkie, we were testing some of those. How would they work? How do they flow? And during that period, we created a video that followed a participant. Some of you may have seen it, but we're just going to play it. It's just about 4 or 5 minutes, and it'll allow you to see some of these things, how the participants reacted and what it was like. So I'm going to bring up that video now and show it to you. This was a safety video from the Birkie Trail Run just a couple weeks ago. The American Birkebinder Ski Foundation, putting on events is what we do. We love creating experiences for you to come, enjoy the Northwoods, test yourself, and feel what it's like to be active in the outdoors. But in these times, we have to have modifications to make sure you're safe, the community's safe, the volunteers safe, the staff is safe, so that it's an amazing event. Follow along with me today as we follow a participant, getting ready for the event and heading out on the trail. What it looks like, what it feels like, and the modifications that you can expect to come to one of our events, feel safe, and enjoy being inspired, being active in the outdoors. Bib pickup is touchless as well. You drive in, give them your name or the event that you're doing. They'll find your bib, hand it to you through your window, and you're on your way. Once you arrive on site, you can tune to 87.9 and listen to all the race announcements until you're called out and it's time to go. Once you hear it's your time to head to the start area, get on out, put on your mask, and get ready to roll. After a few cups of coffee, often in the morning on your way to the race, you're going to use the porta potty. We hand sanitize before we utilize it. Head on in, use the porta potty, and then after, on your way back out, hand sanitize again. As you head into the start venue, you'll be called into the waiting area. As you head up towards the start line, you're going to find a pre-assigned spot, either colored with a pink dot or a flag, ensuring that you're socially distanced. As runners enter the aid stations, there's modifications there as well. To make them touchless, it's foot pedal operated. You take out your bottle or cup, fill it up, and on you go. Another feature is a touchless water spout that is at each of the aid stations. It's free flowing, fill up your bottle, and off you go. As the runners cross the line, they're exhausted, and the last thing from their mind is putting a mask back on. But it's safety protocol, and once you've finished, mask goes back on as you enter the common areas. Right after the race, participants will put their mask back on, and there's a cool selfie board where you can take your own picture or have someone take it for you to remember this awesome day of events. After the race, the participant's going to stop by and get a snack bag, their choice of a beverage, and head back towards the parking area. After you finish, you take your drink of choice and snack bag to the car, head home, drive safe. Hope you had a great event.
Oh, it was a wonderful day. We live in a different time, but this race was just put on wonderfully today. Felt safe the whole time, from bib pickup through the race to the finish here. A lot of safety measures in place, but it really didn't take away from the race experience at all.
We're so grateful to be able to run in this year, in this crazy COVID year.
The Birkie Foundation did a great job of making everybody feel safe from bib pickup on.
I had a fantastic experience. Great weather, great course, super fun, beautiful.
Really well organized.
Just so nice to be able to run an event.
Really safe, wide trail, so it's easy to pass and be passed.
You know, we've had so many events canceled. This was just an absolute pleasure.
I was never within 6 feet of anyone.
Really good check-in by car, quickest check-in for any race ever. Waited in the car, very, very comfortable out there. Came up to the socially distanced porta potties. Never seen a socially distanced porta potty before, but I was happy to see it. Got to the start line. Everybody was apart. It was quiet, peaceful. Get out on the trail. Beautiful day.
I couldn't have really imagined it done any better. The food stations, it was all self-serve, free-flowing water or noon, and we all got Cliff Bars and goo to start the race, so I was self-supported the whole time.
So yeah, safety is job one, and the Birkie hit a home run today without any question. Felt very safe the whole way through.
Hopefully other races will be able to go like this in the future because I felt completely safe.
Kudos to the Birkie Foundation and the group organizing this race. I'm really impressed. It was really fun, comfortable day.
I hope you enjoyed a little behind the scenes too of Birkie Trail Run 2020 and many safety modifications that have been put in place to ensure that the event is not only safe for the community, safe for the participants, safe for the staff and volunteers. It's inspiring to be outside and active, and we look forward to seeing you up in the Northwoods soon. All right, well, that was a little bit of the trail run and some of the modifications we made there. And of course, some of those we can't be done in the winter, but we do know there's modifications that will work. A couple things before I give it over to Christy here. Well, I'm at the Birkie start line. Many of you recognize that. If I pan over here a little bit, we've recently built this tunnel that walks through to an adjacent stadium. The finish line, you're able to ski up and over that into, let's just call it for a year, perhaps the mini international bridge. I don't know if that would suffice forever, but this year I think it's going to have to do. So we're going to work on a lot of over these next couple months in creating the venue that allows for the safe event. But there's a lot of pieces that are going to continue to evolve. So what I'd like to do at this time is I'm going to send it over to Christy Mackey. She's our event director. She and the whole team have been working tirelessly. Now, understand, we'd love for you to submit questions. There's the Q&A over there. I think you just type it in the question and answer, and we're going to have somebody monitor those. But understand, we're not going to answer those to the end, or if you want to wait till the end, and if we haven't answered your question, certainly type it in, submit it there. And tonight, we only have so much time. We'll answer as many of the questions as we can. But if you think of one later or we don't get to it, certainly send it to Birkie@Birkie.com. Give us a call. We're all working here every day. We want to answer those questions. And again, as we get the answers, they'll be posted on the front page of the website at the event updates where we put all the FAQs, etc. So with that, that's about all I know. And by the way, I will tell you, as many of you in the Midwest know, forecasted for 6 to 8 inches of snow, which is pretty darn cool. If that's not a sign from above, I don't know what is. Winter's coming, Birkie's coming. It's pretty darn awesome. So with that, I'm going to throw it over to our event director, Christy Mackey, to go through a few details and get you guys up to speed.
All right. Hi, everyone. Glad you could all join us tonight. I'm going to just provide a really broad, high-level view of what is going to happen. I know you have lots of questions about how this will work on your race day. And we will get to more of those details in hopefully future question and answer sessions that we will have and as we update our facts page. But know that we are paying very close attention to what is happening with public health regulations and safety protocols, and we will be implementing those and paying attention to what levels we are at through this whole time between now and February. So we make sure that we are following the latest recommendations, any new protocols that we might have, and just know that we're going to be working our best to make sure that we can put on the safest possible race, no matter what the situation is in February. Okay, so I've just put a few slides together. All right, so the main safety precautions and protocols that we are going to be looking at through all of the Birkie Week events will be no indoor spaces. That we will have no indoor spaces this year. That means we won't be using the high school, nor will we be using any start or finish line 10s. We'll also have limited touch points. So your aid station experience will be a little bit different, and so will your bib pickup experience. We'll also have reduced congestion at the start, the finish, and on course. We're doing a lot of modeling to look at how many people can we start and at what time intervals can we start those people to make sure that when you're going on course and through the aid stations that you don't experience a lot of congestion, that you have a nice flowing race course, and that you can really ski your event and feel like you have some room to pass people and to get what you might need at the aid stations. With our overall goal being to keep participants, volunteers, staff, and the local communities as safe as possible. That is our #1 priority. So with those goals in mind, we have determined that Birkie Week will be 5 days of racing. So Wednesday, February 24th through Sunday, February 28th. There'll be 3 days of freestyle or skate races and 2 days of classic races. We typically have more skate skiers than we do classic skiers. So that's why we have 3 days of skate skiing. And those days we'll have groomed with no classic tracks. Classic races, we will have classic tracks on the Friday and Sunday trail. And all of this, of course, will be very snow dependent on how many classic tracks we can set, if we're setting them on the edge of the trail or best line. So we'll have to make that determination closer to race day, but know that our groomers are a very committed group of people and that they are going to do their best each and every day to make sure that you are skiing on the best possible course that they can make for you. And so there will be grooming after each race and before each new day. All 3 of the races are going to ski together on each day. The American Birkebeiner will end up being 43 kilometers. The Korteloppet will be 26 kilometers, and the Prince Håkon will be 14 kilometers. We are working on modeling the race pattern on the course, so we can determine how closely we can start all of these different races and determine how much traffic you might be skiing through if you are doing the Birkie, and now you could potentially be skiing through Korteloppet and Prince Håkon skiers on your way back to the finish line. But we are working on that to space it appropriately so you will not feel like all of a sudden you are in a lot of congestion and you can flow through your race as best as possible. We will soon be posting this map. It's just a preliminary map for now, but this will soon be on our website. And you can see that the start is at the American Birkebeiner trailhead. The Prince Håkon will turn around at the Timber Trail aid station. The Korteloppet will turn around just south of the Fire Tower aid station. And the Birkebeiner will go all the way to Double O on the skate trail and then come back on the classic trail. Aid stations, you will have 4 aid stations if you are doing the American Birkebeiner. So your first aid station will be at Fire Tower. And you will see that we do have reduced aid stations this year because you will only travel one way through the aid station. You will actually ski through them both ways, but you will only have access to the aid station while you are skiing through it in one direction. So your first aid station on the Birkie will be at Fire Tower at 12K. You'll have another one at 00 at 20.5K. Then you'll have another one pretty quickly at Bodecker, which will be at 26K. And then once again at Timber Trail at 36K. And that will be your last aid station on the course. So those 4 aid stations for the 43K Birkie. Coeur d'Alene will have 2 aid stations at Fire Tower and Timber Trail. And the Prince Haakon will just have 1 aid station at Timber Trail at the 7K mark. So the virtual option, at any point in time, we are going to be offering the virtual option. So your first chance to choose the virtual option will be the beginning of November. The beginning of November is when we will send out an email to all registered participants. And at that time, you will be able to choose virtual or in person, and then which day your in-person day you will get to choose. We are still working on the details of that and how those emails will be sent out. But make sure that you get Birkie at birkie.com in your address book. So you're getting emails from us because you do not want to miss your opportunity to pick your day. You will have a very short window of time to choose your day. So we need to make sure that you quickly respond to those emails because there is going to be a lot of emails going out. And that's how you're going to, we're still determining how those emails will be sent out, but we will let you know that in the next coming weeks. If you do choose the virtual option, your bib and participant hat will be mailed to you prior to the event. You must complete your event between Wednesday, February 24th and Sunday, February 28th. So just like you experience any other Birkie event, your event week will also be that same week as the in-person experience. You can complete the event wherever you are, but you cannot complete the virtual event on the event race course between Wednesday and Sunday. And you have to track your effort with a GPS watch or app, or have someone verify that you actually did the correct distance, technique, and submit those results to us. Everyone that does this will earn credit for a completed American Birkebeiner, Coeur d'Alene, or Prince Haakon. You will also have a chance to choose virtual after the beginning of November. And we are still currently looking at how long we're going to be able to leave that open for you. But once you switch to virtual, you cannot switch back to the live in-person event. So you can switch to virtual, but not switch back to the in-person event. We are developing a Birkie app that will be coming soon. That's going to help you keep up with all of these changes, all of the information, the new maps. It's going to help your Birkie trail skiing experience. You'll be able to buy your trail pass here. So look for this coming soon because we will be putting a lot of information into this app that will really help you keep on track of what changes are happening. We know a lot of you have a lot more questions, and this is the kind of information that we want to make sure that we have really complete, and we have been very thoughtful about it. So more information to come will be start schedules for each day. I can tell you it's going to look something like 8 to noon, Wednesday through Sunday. Each day will have the same start schedule. There will be a wave start for every wave, whether you're elite, wave 70, wave 1, wave 8. All of those waves will be offered on every day that the event is taking place. We will also have more in-depth aid station information coming soon, what we're able to provide, what to expect on course. Some of this will also be guided by public health recommendations and the state of COVID in February. Bib pickup information will also be coming soon. As you can imagine, getting all of these bibs out to everyone is no small feat. And if we had Santa Claus here and he could drop them in your chimneys, that would be really helpful. But we don't. So we are going to be working on how to really get a dialed in, smooth bib pickup experience for you. So stay tuned for more of that information. Other Birkie Week events, like the Barna Birkie, Barca Birkie, Adaptive Birkie, and Junior Birkie, we will have all of that information on what, when, and where those will take place before you have to choose your event day. So if you're concerned about your child skiing in the Junior Birkie and which day you should pick for your race, we'll have that information out to you before you have to make that decision. All right, and I just want to make a little shout out to all of our sponsors who are sticking with us as we navigate these uncharted waters right now. But we're really hopeful and we're really looking forward to putting on a great event for everyone. And we think February is going to be a great time to be outside and be skiing. And so we want you all to stay motivated and healthy and keep moving towards earning that next Birkie, Cordy, or Prince Haakon year completion. All right, so I think we have quite a few questions that have now been submitted. All right, so we'll start going through some of the questions that you have submitted during this time. So when can I switch to virtual? Again, you can switch to virtual the beginning of November at that initial email when you can either choose virtual or your in-person day. If you are not ready to commit, then go ahead, choose your in-person day. I would suggest choosing that as soon as you get that email, and then knowing that you can switch to virtual later on. So just stay tuned to more information when the last date to switch to virtual will be. We'll have that soon. How do I switch to the virtual date? You'll switch to the virtual date race either in that initial email, or we will have a link on our website that will take you straight to a kind of a registration form that will enable you to switch from your in-person race to the virtual race. And we're still working on what the latest date that you can switch to virtual will be. If I switch to virtual, can I switch back to in-person? No. You will have to, when you switch to virtual, we will have to keep you in the virtual pool at that time, and we will not be able to bring you back out into the in-person. Can a driver drop off the racing skier and pick them up if they stay in the car? Yes. So at this time, we are anticipating no spectators will be allowed at the start, finish, or on course. Of course, this could change if things are improving or if we're in a different situation given COVID-19. At this time, we are saying you cannot be spectating at the start or finish areas, but you can drop somebody off if they are racing. You can park and stay in the car if you don't think that you're going to get cold or it's going to be too long in the car. So yes, you can drop somebody off when you come to park at the start finish area. If I ski virtually, how do I get my bib? Your bib and hat will be mailed to you before the event if you're skiing virtually. So then wherever you are doing your virtual event, you will be able to put on your bib and ski your event just like you were here in person with us. If I ski in person, how do I get my bib? We are still working on that. As you can imagine, it gets a little complicated trying to determine how to get all of those bibs out to people. So stay tuned in the next few weeks while we kind of dial in how much space or some of the best methods to get bibs out to people. But we will for sure have some way to do that. Can a classic skier race on a freestyle day? You probably don't want to because there will be no classic tracks on a freestyle day. So we suggest really freestyle days for skaters, classic day for classic skiers where we can guarantee you that you will have some kind of a track. How many classic tracks will be set? This will still be determined by how much snow we have and the grooming capabilities of our grooming team. So this is still to be determined, and we won't know the actual answer to this until we're closer to the event and we know how much snow we have on the course. Is it possible that state or federal mandates will shut down the race? We are working closely with public health, and we are trying to spread things out so we can do this event in the safest manner possible. But there will be, of course, be some things that are out of our control. So hopefully this does not happen, but we're working really closely with them to make sure that we put in all of the precautions and protocols in place so we are able to run a race. What if COVID restrictions subside? Can the Birkie return to normal? That's a great question. It's also a very complicated question. Likely not at this point. That we will be able to return to a normal Birkie. All indications tell us that COVID restrictions are most likely not going to subside by February. And so we are determining now to make it easier on everyone that this is what our Birkie will be. It'd be very difficult to make people choose different days and alter their lodging plans at this time and then expect them to alter them again the closer we got to February. So this is what the Birkie is going to look for 2021. Will COVID-19 negative tests be required for all participating in person? You will have to do a self-check. You will not have to show a lab test. That's beyond what we are able to do. But we will require that all participants do a self-check prior to coming and that you answer certain questions and that you are all healthy. We hope you are all healthy when you are coming here. Will a mask be required while skiing? A mask will not be required while skiing, but we will require masks in the start and finish areas and at aid stations if you can't keep physically distanced. Once you are on the course and actively skiing, we will not be requiring masks. And that's the current recommendations. If current recommendations about that change, then we would have to make some work with public health to determine what is really best while participants are skiing. Will my time count for future wave placement? We know that this is a really hot topic with a lot of you, and it is a very difficult thing to figure out because now we have racing over 5 days. So we're still working on that on our side of things because this is a very difficult issue with our programming and things on the back end of things. So we know that Wednesday could be very different from Saturday and that there are concerns about differing conditions and how to kind of make it a little more even playing field if we have different conditions. So we're really working hard to be thoughtful about that and try and figure out what is fair to all of our participants. So stay tuned to that while we figure a few more things out.
Next question for Ben.
All right, I'm going to throw this question to Ben.
All right. Well, I always get the good questions. You know, similar to 2017 when we're unable to give refunds, our goal is to spend the event money that you gave to us on an event. And we really believe this 2020 event will be a Birkie. It's going to be a different Birkie. It's going to be like some of those that finished at 00 or were open tracks. This is one you're going to be telling your kids about for a long time. So there will not be refunds or deferments because we really believe Birkie 2021 will be happening February 24th through 28th.
Back to you, Christy.
All right, can I sign up for any day or will there be a limited number of spots every day? There will be a limited number of spots every day. In order to achieve some physical distancing, reduced congestion on the course, we will be limiting each wave and each day to the number of participants each day. We're still working with some statisticians to look at the modeling and figure out what that number will be. You will have a day that you will be able, we will have a spot for you on one of those days, but there will be a limited number of spots per day and per wave. If I can't get the day I want, can I switch to virtual? Yes, You will definitely be able to switch to virtual if you are not, if you can't get the day that you are hoping to race. What will the start wave schedule roughly look like? We're looking at a lot of different things, how much time between waves, average pace of waves, to make sure that the flow along the course keeps moving and keeps spread out. So my guess is that wave starts will be somewhere between 8 a.m. and noon, spread out in there. We also have to keep in mind that that may shorten the amount of time that you have to complete the race, but the race is shorter this year than normal. So also keep that in mind as you are looking at the wave start times. Can I race multiple days? Yes, you may race multiple days and multiple events. However, if you race, you may only get credit for completing one event per year. So you may ski the Birkie Skate and the Birkie Classic, but you only get credit for completing one Birkie because you have just completed Birkie 2021. So you cannot get multiple credit for doing multiple events of the same distance. You can get credit for skiing a quarter lopet, a Prince Haken, and an American Birkebeiner in the same year. You just can't get credit for skiing 2 quarter lopets or 2 Birkies. You won't get 2 credits for that, only 1. Will roads be open to spots along the trail for spectators? This is still kind of to be determined with public health, how shut down the race course will have to be. So stay tuned as we get closer to the race. We'll have to just see kind of what the status of COVID is in the area and how open the course will be to spectators. As I said before, right now we are encouraging no spectators, and we're saying for sure no spectators at the start and finish areas. But this will be one that we'll be working with public health officials a little bit more closely as we get closer to the event. Will the race be timed? Yes, the race will be timed. We will have official timing just like we do every year. You will have chip time. So the elite race that goes off on Saturday and Sunday will still be timed as a gun time, and champions, the American Birkebeiner champion and quarter lopet champion, will both be crowned on Saturday and Sunday for those respective techniques. Otherwise, everyone else will be chip timed as normal. So your wave might have a 10-minute or 15-minute start window, and you can either start at the gun or anytime in that 10-minute window. Your time will start when you cross the line, when your chip crosses that line. We will have timing mats out on course for monitoring split times, and then your finish time will be your official chip finish time. Planning to be there the whole week, what parts of the Birkie Trail system will be available for open skiing Wednesday through Sunday? So there is a lot of Birkie Trail that we are not using, and that will technically be open like south of 00, especially if you're closer to maybe Fish Hatchery Park. The only thing we cannot guarantee right now is that we'll be groomed to the same level as the race course area. Our focus will be on the race course, and we will have to see as we get closer to the event how much attention we can give the other parts of the trail system. However, there are also lots of other good skiing in the area. So I would check back in later this winter and see with some of our partners what they're going to be able to do to encourage skiing on their trail systems during Birkie Week. What is the plan for the Barna Birkie, Junior Birkie, Adaptive, Barkie Birkie, and Giant Ski? Unfortunately, we have made the decision to postpone the Giant Ski for 2021. 6 people on a pair of giant skis does not allow anyone to be physically distanced unless you just have a person in the front and the person in the back. So for this year, the giant ski is postponed. We will be attempting to do all these other races, whether it's an actual race format or more of an open track. We're still determining that. So we will have plans available for all of these races before the beginning of November when you get your choose your race day email. So stay tuned for more information on those. Will there be age class awards, and will there be age class awards for virtual? At this time, we anticipate that there will be age class awards for the in-person event. And those age class awards will be handed out still as the top of the age class over the multiple days. We do realize that there might be difference in conditions over the days, but we will only be giving out one age class award per age class. There will be no awards for the virtual events. We cannot control for elevation gain or anything else. So no awards for the virtual, but you will earn your completion for that year. Will elite racers have the same race day options? Yes. If an elite racer is hoping to become the American Birkie Binder champion, then we suggest that you choose Saturday. Otherwise, the elite racers will have the opportunity to race on all of the other days. We're still looking at what Saturday's race will look like for elite racers and how many of those elite racers we can have race on Saturday, how large that start can be. All right, will there be park at the start passes? Yes, we are working on, we will have a lot of parking at the start and finish area this year, but there will be some parking that is a little bit closer than the rest of it. So stay tuned. I'm sure those areas are going to go fast. There will be a limited number of park at the start passes that will be on sale in January. Will there be dorm housing this year? No, there will not be dorm housing at the Wesleyan Church this year. We just feel that there's no way to safely do that. So we encourage you to look for other housing opportunities, and we are working with the local chambers and lodging groups to let them know that things have changed for Birkie participants this year, and they might be able to open up some additional lodging options earlier in the week or require people to stay for fewer days. So we will be working with them to try and help you find additional options for housing. Could the race course travel south on the classic trail and return north on the skate trail? No, if you remember when we started this and Ben showed you the new stadium and the new tunnel, that new stadium area where you will be finishing this year does not allow to easily go north on or south on the classic trail. So we'd have to finish going north on the classic trail so we don't have cross traffic along the way.
Let's go to Ben.
All right, this next one is for Ben.
All right, why such a short window for the virtual option? Could you consider expanding it so participants can actually do the virtual race on the Birkie Trail? The goal is to make the event the event. We really want to harness the energy and the excitement of being here for Birkie weekend and part of the Birkie experience. But the other thing is during that period of time, as Christy said, there's a lot of precautions we're putting in place. One of the fears we have, and public health does as well, if we say, hey, come on up for this weekend and ski it virtually, we have lost control of how we can organize and keep people to a certain number so that we don't end up with 600 people showing up all at the same time to do it, quote unquote, virtually. So it's the one way that we can continue to try and organize to make sure that people stay safe and that ultimately people have that experience of either coming and experiencing it as part of the Birkie during those 5 days or doing it virtually wherever you might be. I'll send her back over to Christy. I'm not sure if you have any more questions or not, or I guess not. All right, well, that means you're stuck with me for a second. I guess what I'd like to say is certainly thank you for tuning in and spending the last half hour or so with us. Ultimately, we know that there's still a lot of questions that you have, and we were only able to answer some of them. But first and foremost, we now have a plan to move forward on when it's going to happen, and some of the framework there. Now, some of those little details, give us a couple days, a couple weeks, and continue to check back. I know that it's not going to be far down the road. I think early November-ish time frame that we're going to start to send out those emails for people to register for the race, but watch your inbox. Christy and John and the whole crew are going to be putting a lot of those details together. Keep a heads up, check back often to that events page, because that's where we populate it. And as again, we're going to get it there as quickly as it can, and we're going to work really closely with the community, because at the end of the day, we know if you have you're not sure where to get food, well, that means we need to figure out how do we have more restaurants that offer takeout. It's not just about the ski experience, it's about everything that happens here. So understand that we're going to provide opportunities. And I'd also like to say that the Birkie Tour this winter, which is coming up in late January, is likely going to be a real test run for the Birkie. So the Birkie Tour, keep tabs on that, but likely we're going to have it run almost identical to the Birkie ideally. So it might not be timed the exact way, but aid stations, parking, flow, it's going to be a chance for people to test run what the Birkie might be like. So keep an eye on the Birkie Tour and as details emerge about that, as well as the other things that they're determined by the registration and all those things that go with it. Because like I said, getting bibs out to close to 10,000 people is a lot of mailing them or meeting you or whatever that case might be, as well as what is the sponsor experience and the expo and all those things that we know happen as part of Birkie Week. We're going to get to those answers. Now, we understand that a big part of the Birkie is hanging out at the end and a big party and eating a brat and drinking a beer, whatever those things might be. But what we really found out through the trail run and the Telemark Ascent is, while certainly those are part of it, the energy and excitement people felt while being out on the trail, even though they weren't standing shoulder to shoulder them with a bus line, hanging out downtown, changing tents, etc. Some of that is gone, and we understand that. But I'm telling you, the magic and excitement and fever was still there in the trail run and the Telemark Ascent. They gathered it in different ways. So I really believe that Birkie 2021 is one that you're never going to forget. I tell you, it's one that, since I've been here, we've had tents fall, we've had snow melt, we've had all kinds of crazy Birkies, and this is not an exception. This too will be a crazy Birkie, but trust me, we have absolutely the best team, the best community, the best volunteers to put on an event that I think will rival none. So I hope you register. I hope you tell your friends to register. We'd love to see you here this winter, because it's certainly what keeps us going. It keeps us excited and motivated to put on life-changing and amazing experiences. So all I can say is be well, train on, and we all as a Team Birkie look forward to seeing you up here in the Northwoods soon.
Yeah, and I just want to remind everyone that we will continue to do these question and answer sessions as we get closer to February. So check back in, get your questions, either email them in or keep them for these question and answer sessions. And thank you for joining us tonight. And please let us know what you might be thinking.